What's up, guys? It is Tuesday, January 17th. It's 2:58 p.m. and this is the crypto newsletter. So there's a lot of big news that's been announced over the past couple of days, and we're going to dive into that. I'm also going to do a follow-up newsletter tracking the World Economic Forum Davos Annual Summit. I'm going to continue down that rabbit hole with another video today, and still working on that XLM deep dive. So if you're looking for that, should be done and pushed out today. Also as well too, we are doing the Femex live tutorial tonight around 7:30. So if you're in the Discord, you will get the link for that to be able to join. And we're going to go from A to Z step by step so you guys know how to go about Femex. So now let's dive into it. First, we're going to start off with Ripple. 2023 is a pivotal year for regulation in crypto, and Ripple General Counsel Stuart Alderoty is breaking the misconception that actors in the crypto space do not want regulation. So let's hear it.
Asking a lawyer to answer anything in a minute is hard. It usually takes 30 seconds just to say on the one hand and 30 seconds to say on the other hand, but let's give it a shot. Hi, this is Stu Alderoty, and this is Crypto in a Minute. So crypto regulation is healthy because, actually, first there's a misconception that actors in the crypto space do not want regulation. And I think responsible actors in the crypto space actually do want regulation. And the reason they want regulation, it's good for their business, it's good for their customers, it's good for the markets. And the way you get there is through clear regulation. Clear regulation consistently applied leads to predictable outcomes, and predictable outcomes are good for everybody. If you don't know what the law requires, you can't comply with the law. And the law inconsistently applied leads to unpredictable outcomes, which at the end of the day is not going to be good for anybody. So I think that's the definition of healthy regulation. And I think in the crypto space, we're working our way to get there. Some markets get it right, some markets get it wrong. And I got 1 second left, so I'm going to stop.
Then we got this crypto lender Nexa under investigation by authorities in Bulgaria on suspicion of money laundering, tax offenses, banking without a license, and computer fraud. More than 300 people are allegedly involved in the operation. So who knows if this is true or not, but I'd say if you can get your stuff out of Nexo, you probably should. This is all, it just has all those same kind of signs as the FTXs, the Binances, and it's just better to hold your cryptos in your hands, self-custody, or beyond something like Coinbase or Uphold, which are Uphold is like highly regulated. They go through more compliance, I believe, than some of these exchanges. As you can see, when like you send crypto out of Uphold, they do like a selfie verification of your face. But also with Coinbase, they're a publicly traded company, so they're audited. So it's much safer holding it on those type of exchanges or self-custody. Then we have an upcoming airdrop for Flare and XFi holders. I'm going to dive into that myself and look at kind of the terms of it and everything. And I'll keep you guys updated into this because free airdrop, we got to capitalize on that. Then we have this. So live from Davos 2023, crypto is in focus at the World Economic Forum 2023 as both a challenge to the financial system and a tool to help resolve some of the world's problems. Then if we go up here, we have Bitcoin's mining difficulty hits a new all-time high. The network is stronger than ever. The fundamentals matter, and it's very true. Usually when you see the mining difficulty go up, prices tend to kind of rise with it and correlate with that. So all eyes are on Ethereum's next major upgrade, which is expected to take place in March. So the Shanghai hard fork. And I believe that's going to allow for the people that have staked their Ethereum to be able to access it. So that would be solid. But if they are able to access it, I mean, their Ethereum's been locked up for so long now, it's likely they may dump it. So some Ethereum could flood the market at that time. Maybe we see a lead up event to that and then it sells off. But Bitcoin touched 21K mark for the first time since November, and Bloomberg reported that Binance will allow institutional investors to keep their collateralized crypto off the exchange. That's all good. You see Bitcoin outshining the S&P 500 in gold. Then we see Binance reportedly removing a big hurdle for institutional investors, allowing them to keep their collateral off the exchange on Binance custody while trading. That's good for institutional adoption. And then there was a hack, the Harmony One attack. Huobi and Binance froze the funds. It was the North Korean hacking group. I believe they're called Lazarus. Then Bernstein says 2023 will lay the foundations for a decade-long golden age of innovation for crypto applications. 100%. So they expect crypto revenue to jump to around 400 billion by 2033. Interesting. But as far as 2023 being the year where the foundation, the regulations are set for a huge kind of run and kind of a decade long of new crypto applications being propped up, being accepted, gaining traction. It's definitely the year. 2023 is the year of laying the groundwork and the year of utility, I would say. Then we have this. We got crypto is so much more than a market. It is also more than a new technology. It's a new way of thinking about value, risk, funding, and engagement. So a new philosophy of markets, assets that embody technology. For the first time in our history, we have tradable assets that embody innovation. This is the first time in history where you can own a direct piece of a technological innovation. Like we had talked about before, and in the course videos in Agartha, we talk about, what if you were able to buy HTTPS coin, and by holding that coin, you were enabled to launch a website? And what if that HTTPS coin had a limited supply that, say it was 100 million HTTPS coin? I mean, that would have been a huge, big investment, because you're owning a piece of the internet of what it is today, and with a limited supply of that asset, and now everybody launching websites, but needing that asset to launch one, the price has to rise for that. We're in the same boat as far as crypto today and Web3 applications. That's what we're seeing. And this is the first time in history where that is panning out. So it's definitely what a time to be alive. Then we have this. We got unbacked cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin provide no economic utility and impose societal costs that vastly outweigh the benefits, but the broader digital asset industry is not going away. This is DFE Duke, so Duke Financial Economic Center. They are spelling that out. So they're saying that, yeah, Bitcoin and all, it has no economic utility, and it imposes more costs than the benefits, but the broader digital asset industry, that is here to stay. And there's going to be so many innovations and big things that result from the broader industry, not just Bitcoin. A lot of people just focus on Bitcoin and Ethereum, but when you start digging deeper, getting under the hood, there is some huge innovation going on. Then we have this. We got stablecoin regulation is Congress' top priority, says Bitwise General Counsel. While several attempts have been made at a more comprehensive crypto legislative package, a focused approach is probably more likely in the near term. So we're going to see some stablecoin regulation, as we were saying earlier, the year of the regulation, laying that framework, that groundwork, and then we're going to see utility take off. Then we have users in Nigeria, Tanzania, South Africa, Kenya, and 5 other African nations may now send and receive Bitcoin without a smartphone or an internet connection. So there's all this talk about how doing transactions offline, and I believe, I don't know, I know XRP Ledger, you're able to do offline transactions, but I'm not sure. Let's kind of dive into it and see what technology provider they're using. So via Lightning Network, okay. So yeah, that's a key thing as well too, if transactions can happen offline. So that is one way. So allows you to send and receive sats to your phone number, and that's going to enable widespread adoption. Then we have this. So Bitcoin surge causes over 500 million in liquidations, the highest in 3 months. So a lot of people liquidated on that short. We were not. Then Atlanta Fed website, payment infrastructure tokens such as Ripple, same as utility settlement coin and JPM coin, aren't they restricted? If they have their own coins for closed networks, how do they interoperate? Maybe there needs to be a one decentralized private token for banks. And then we have all this here. This looks like it's from the Bank of International Settlements. I remember seeing this kind of diagram here. But as you can see, Ripple, Stellar, they're heavily tied up with the big boys. Like examples include the utility settlement coin, XRP, digital assets, such assets may serve as a bridge currency, cross-border interbank payments, everything that we've been tracking, wholesale only, CBDC, BIS, private digital tokens, wholesale only. They're seeing that all be the case. An exemption that makes clear unregulated tokens utilized in the first instance by institutional regulated customers and not retail investors. This is something that has definitely been on the minds of a lot of people for a long time, if we're going to be able to hold it. And I'm going to dive deep into this question because it's still been unsolved. So that is something that I will cover in a deep dive. So if you haven't already, subscribe, hit the notification bell, get updated in real time when we put out these videos. Then we got the next thing. So Larry Fink wants to tokenize stocks and bonds. I mean, we've been tracking this for a very long time, and we know that's going to be the case. We're heading into the future of finance, the new plumbing. And in our course videos in the Agartha program, we lay that all out here. We talk about our current system, why it sucks. Then in mission 2, we go into the future system, and it's coming sooner than we think. And it's here now. The Internet of Value. We read that World Economic Forum article from like a couple of days ago, them saying the Internet of Value, like that is what we're heading into. And we laid that out all over than a year now in our course videos here. There's over 100 videos in Agarth that teaches you the fundamental opportunity of crypto, where we were before, where we're at now, and where we're headed to set you up to crush it the next decade, where it's the golden age of crypto and Web3 applications. So now we have this. We got Iran and Russia want to issue new stablecoin backed by gold. No kidding. I mean, you got the Moscow World Standard. You have the BRICS nations. You have this new unit of account, this digital new unit of account that they're going to create. And we speculated for a long time. They're going to have their own local CBDCs. Then they're going to have this digital new unit of account that is going to be backed by this collective group, the BRICS nations, with these commodities, and they're going to just trade via their own local currencies, with that digital new unit of account being that back-end settlement bridge mechanism, which could run on XRP, it could run on Stellar. There's going to be some more deep diving to figure that out, but it's going to be one of those two. Then let's go into that actual article and let's see. So we got the Central Bank of Iran is reportedly cooperating with the Russian government to jointly issue a new crypto backed by gold. Iran is working with Russia to create a token of the Persian Gulf region that would serve as a payment method in foreign trade. The token is projected to be issued in the form of a stablecoin backed by gold. And the stablecoin aims to enable cross-border transactions instead of fiat currencies like the US dollar, the Russian ruble, or the Iranian rial. The report notes that the potential cryptocurrency would operate in a special economic zone in Astrakhan, where Russia started to accept Iranian cargo shipments. Russian lawmaker Anton, a member of the Committee on Information Policy, IT and Communications, stressed that a joint stablecoin project would only be possible once the digital asset market is fully regulated in Russia. That's why regulation is what we're waiting for, as far as all these things that we've been tracking for years being put in place and being launched. After multiple delays, the Russian lower house of parliament once again promised to start regulating crypto transactions in 2023. Iran and Russia are among the countries that banned their residents from using cryptos like Bitcoin and stablecoins like Tether for payments. At the same time, Iran and Russia have been actively working to adopt crypto as a tool for foreign trade. In August 2022, Iran's Industry, Mines, and Trade Ministry approved the use of cryptocurrency for imports into the country amid ongoing international trade sanctions. The local government said the new measures would help Iran mitigate global trade sanctions. Iran subsequently placed its first international import order using $10 million worth of crypto. The Bank of Russia, historically opposed to using crypto as a payment method, agreed to allow crypto in foreign trade to mitigate the impact of international sanctions. The regulator has never clarified which cryptos would be used for such transactions, though. It's all a secret. It's hush-hush until regulations come in. There we go. So now there will be guardrails placed on crypto promulgated at least by the G20. Coinbase's Vice President of International Policy, Tom Duff Gordon, says we're going to see a bit more mainstreaming. He shares more predictions, but we've been saying that what this big announcement that we're waiting for is going to come from an international group, and it's going to be at an international conference because crypto is global. It's not going to be like one country's own conference, where it's going to be an international thing, and it's going to be announced at one of these international conferences. And he's basically ringing that same bell. At least by the G20, you're going to see guardrails placed on crypto. We speculated that it could happen at the G20, with India leading it in December. I think it's of this year in December. So we're going to have to see. Maybe it doesn't come in the first half of the year, maybe the second half, but ultimately it's going to be at one of these international conferences with an international group. So we'll get those on our radar of the conferences coming up, and it's going to be at one of those. I can promise you that. So now let's go into the next thing. We got this virtual meeting, bilateral assistance and capacity building for central banks, BIS, IMF, probably more. I can't even see the competition. Cross-border solutions, Ripple is wholesale, Stellar is retail, nothing left to say. We've been saying that. It's been clear cut, set out for years now. And this is Swiss cooperation program. let us keep going here. Panel: expectations and challenges of a multi-CBDC in cross-border payments, solutions for wholesale cross-border payments. Policy panel: policy objectives, institutional and regulatory challenges of wholesale cross-border payments in emerging economies. And then we can probably see here that you have Vice President of Central Bank Engagements, Ripple, right there. And then you can see the solution that Ripple has set up. And then, so possible solutions in wholesale cross-border payments. James Wallace from Ripple was talking on that panel. And then you had this panel: possible solutions in retail cross-border payments. Then you had Gabriel Bizama from Stellar for the lead international policy talking on that panel. So it's set out in stone. I mean, it makes no sense why Ripple would be talking on the would be talking on the wholesale cross-border payments possible solutions, but then launch for retail. No, it's already set in stone. Everybody involved in these kind of group meetups, these behind the scenes kind of round table shaking hands, they all know that this is going to pan out this way. So we're getting more confirmation of that. All right, then this from Ripple: maximizing creator value with built-in royalties. So this was today. The struggle between artists and digital platforms is well documented and nothing new. Metallica's Lars Ulrich led a very public fight in a lawsuit against illegal downloading on Napster during Web 1. So these challenges persist in the world of Web 2. Streaming platforms like Spotify have taken hits for the sometimes meager compensation they pay to musicians. Consider Tasman Little, an award-winning classical violinist who claims she received just $15.50 for 6 months of streaming on Spotify during the pandemic, a span where she would have had over 3.5 million total streams on the platforms. While royalty payments are routine for musicians, that is not the case for most artists. Many artists are only compensated on an initial sale, but even if a piece of art appreciates in value or work is resold, the artist rarely receives any additional royalty compensation and has little to no visibility over provenance and transactions for their work over time. Maximizing value for creators. Blockchain technology, tokenization in particular, has been touted to help resolve the issue and bolster the broader creative economy by ensuring artists are fairly compensated and rights protected. As OnXRP said recently, royalties are an essential part of art in Web3. In fact, royalties were one of the only main selling points at the beginning of the NFT bull market. Artists could not only sell their artwork in the digital realm, but also perpetually receive income on secondary sales, which was previously a challenging task to execute. Indeed, with ownership recorded on the blockchain and smart contracts directing royalty payments, artists were promised a safe and recurring revenue stream from their creations. It was heralded as the beginning of a new creator economy. There's going to be so much opportunity for creators out there with this new kind of advent Web3 and the capabilities that it enables for this value and these royalties and everything to be kind of routed to their own personal wallets and cutting out the middleman of these kind of music labels and everything like that. So, but what is to prevent royalties being removed again in the future or by less responsive marketplaces? In addition to equitable distribution of value, how can artists ensure protection for themselves and their work beyond basic copyrights? So protocol level royalty protections. So enforcing creator royalties at the protocol level is key to maximizing creator value, but not every chain or marketplace is adhering to this standard, sparking pushback from the broader creator community. Without royalties enforced for projects built on chain, there's little reward or incentive for creator loyalty and longevity. The whole purpose of an on-chain NFT and the creator economy is to maximize value given back to the creator themselves. And XLS20 is the manifestation of this belief. Launched earlier this year, XLS20 was designed with creators in mind to ensure and enforce royalties up front. It lowers the technical requirements needed to launch NFT projects and embeds critical features like automatic royalties and co-ownership for a more powerful, seamless, and widely accessible NFT experience. So this becomes even more important for smaller artists that don't have massive teams behind them to help track the royalties, transactions made over time, and provenance of their work. Instead, they need marketplaces with upfront transparent fees and transactions. So XRPL is the chain of choice for NFT creators. And a little secret here, but we're going to be working on some Stargate NFTs launched on the XRPL, which we're going to airdrop to our VIP premium members. So that is going to be a lot of stuff in the works, man. So that's going to be interesting to launch, and we're excited to do that. So core to this improved NFT experience are the inherent advantages of the XRPL as a fast, low cost, and scalable chain. able to handle a high volume of transactions that can close in less than 5 seconds and cost only a fraction of a cent. The XRPL supports a wide range of NFT use cases. It's also green by design and the first major blockchain to be carbon neutral, much more efficient than leading proof of blockchains. The XRPL enables billions of NFTs to be created and transacted sustainably, and that's the key. The short-term effects of applying royalties are simple. Both the marketplace and creators are able to build the foundation for a meaningful relationship through mutual interest, one that is not only driven by income and volume, but also by growth. Whether it's a gaming, utility, or art-based project, understanding the creator's goal and helping them execute the roadmap means the whole ecosystem wins. By having this royalty structure, we are incentivized to keep pushing the projects to new horizons. Ultimately, the addition of XLS20 helps maximize value for those who create, distinguishing the XRPL from chains with centralized authorities. It cements the promise of technology and service to creators and further solidifies that XRPL as the blockchain of choice for NFTs and for everything else. So there we go. That's going to be fun to launch that Stargate NFT on XRP, that's for sure. CBDCs are the future of money, IBM exec says. He said issuers should consider a hybrid model of permissioned and permissionless currency. That's the future of money. We cover it in Agartha. We're on top of it. This is what we had, the history of money. We go back to the past. We talk about the present day and where we're at, and then we talk about the future. And CBDCs are just the future of money. And CBDCs have the potential to change payment systems. An executive partner at IBM Consulting said at the World Economic Forum annual conference in Davos, he said that CBDCs are the future of money, but issuers need to consider a hybrid-like model. They are replacing the current digital currency system, and in a way, they are controlled. This is an excellent position where a combination of permission and permissionless is necessary. While many CBDC pilot projects are still in development phases, he said payments will eventually be made with CBDCs. In the meantime, stablecoins, which are a form of crypto pegged to real-world assets such as the gold or the US dollar, are working as stopgaps until CBDCs are available in the market. He said the ability to use programmable money with smart contracts can reduce friction and help large-scale enterprises elevate their level of transparency in real-time payment systems. It's absolutely where we're going, although he cautioned that not all CBDC, stablecoins, and smart contract protocols are created equal. There we go, and that's for sure. Then we have this. CoinDesk broke big news about FTX. Now the news is closer to home. They are talking about, let me see. They're talking about the Digital Currency Group, because Digital Currency Group owns CoinDesk, and they're talking about how it kind of them putting FTX on blast and that whole kind of FTX collapse playing out. Digital Currency Group is kind of in hot water with Genesis as well too. So very interesting stuff. We're not going to cover that in depth. Ukraine Deputy Prime Minister, I'll take salary in CBDC. We know that Ukraine, in partnership with MoneyGram, United Nations, and Stellar, have Stellar Aid, and they're providing USDC, Stellar-based USDC to people affected by the war. But also Stellar is kind of tasked with, and I think it was Tascom Bank, with building the CBDC for Ukraine. And he said he wants to make his country the world's leading jurisdiction for virtual currency after a successful wartime fundraising campaign. This was at Davos. We knew there was going to be a lot of stuff at Davos on crypto. We covered that like 20 days ago because the first thing on the list was about cryptocurrencies. And I'll link that video in the bio here as well too if you want to watch that. But Ukraine's deputy prime minister wants to be the first user of a planned new central bank digital currency and take his salary in the EU Hurricane. And he said at World Economic Forum, new laws will make the country the world's leading jurisdiction for crypto assets, he's the Ukraine's Minister for Digital Transformation after Ukraine successfully used crypto to raise money for its armed forces. 2 weeks ago, I saw a pilot of the electronic e-Hryvnia in Ukraine. He said, speaking through an interpreter, of plans to issue a CBDC in cooperation with crypto company Stellar. I plan on becoming the first test user of the electronic Hryvnia, and I plan to receiving my salary in e-Hryvnia. Ukraine is one of the number of countries around the world considering whether to issue fiat money in digital form, with draft legislation on a digital euro due from the neighboring European Union later this year. In Ukraine, virtual asset legislation signed into law last year, just weeks after the country's invasion by Russia, will be supplemented by a new tax law for crypto and by a CBDC law due next year from the National Bank of Ukraine. That will see Ukraine having the best crypto assets jurisdiction in the world, a complex, comprehensive approach to the legalization of all digital assets, and an unprecedented move. Crypto fundraising by Ukraine earlier in the war, succeeding in raising $178 million in clothing, vehicles, and other equipment for soldiers. Owing to the support of the world, crypto community, we managed to facilitate and expedite quick purchases of everything we needed for our armed forces, he says. So things are heating up. Circle taps Deloitte as new auditor, doubles down on proof of reserves. Circle, who for years partnered with firm Grant Thornton for its audits, makes the switch to Deloitte as various accounting firms express concern over working with crypto companies. So they're in partnership now with one of the big fours, Deloitte, very reputable. So them partnering with them for proof of reserves gives that clarity and that the market needs, as well as USDC and Circle with the Circle Reserve Fund in partnership with BlackRock, which the Federal Reserve is using for its overnight repo markets. USDC is very heavily tied up and they have their place cemented in stone. So there we go. Regulating USDC reserves. We're going to see more of that regulation come in on that effect. And we saw earlier in this video about the stablecoin regulation that they're focusing on. Then we have this huge news as well too at Davos. Solana Foundation, Ripple, GBBC, and others form partnership to promote crypto solutions for climate change. We've been totally on this. That's why we've been tracking the green transition or the green finance, because it ties heavily with crypto. And I just saw a tweet about somebody that doesn't own XRP saying that it looks extremely well right now. It might be time to do a conversion. All right, so yeah, they're saying a leg up to 46 cents around there. I see it as well too. So Solana Foundation, Ripple are partnering with Eco Networks, Industry Group, Global Business, Blockchain Business Council, and Blockchain Climate Collective, BXCI, to accelerate the use of crypto-based solutions for climate change. The newly founded nonprofit organization called Blockchain X Climate Leadership Network aims to be the single largest common gathering of climate action innovators, leaders, and builders under one global umbrella. It was announced at GBBC's gathering on the sidelines of the 2023 annual meeting of the World Economic Forum, held in Davos, Switzerland. The event, which gathers world leaders and top businesses in the Swiss Alps, attracted a slew of crypto entities to last year's meeting, just ahead of the series of high-profile company collapses that left the industry scrambling to pick up the pieces. This year's crypto presence on the promenade outside the main forum center is comparatively muted, and the industry is making a concerted effort to attract attention to projects that have real-world applications and social benefit. There we go. Real-world utility. I think the climate use cases makes the most sense in terms of real-world utility beyond, let's say, speculative retail involvement. We can see that efforts of using crypto to support climate change mitigation efforts largely revolve around creating new economies that don't harm the environment. Solana Foundation and Ripple are two of the founding partners, whereas environmentally oriented Layer 1 blockchain, Regen Network, and Association Climate Collective are supporting partners. So there we go. They were formerly known as Blockchain Infrastructure Carbon Offset Working Group, and they'll lead the initiative. So there we go. I mean, everything is playing a role into the ushering of CBDCs, of the climate, the green transition, of the carbon credit solutions. Everything is all playing a role here. Then we have European Union postpones MiCA vote to April. So the holdup comes because of issues in translating the text into 24 different languages. Okay, so we're going to see that MiCA regulations, markets and crypto asset regulation for the EU, come into effect likely and be voted on in April. So there we go. The delay is technical, caused by translating issues, basically. There we go. So then we have this. Bernstein says custody services are the foundation for institutional crypto adoption. We've been saying that the custody solution needs to be on point, because institutions aren't going to pile into here until it is. PolySign has developed a next generation custody solution. I believe Arthur Brito and then David Schwartz were involved in creating that alongside BNY Mellon and some execs there. So you can buy private equity of PolySign on Link 2, but pretty soon here, I'm not sure if they did a full scale launch yet. I'm gonna have to do a deep dive on them, but I believe that's going to be the blue chip custody solution for sure. Polygon upgrade went live. We had talked about that a couple days ago. They went live, so they did the upgrade. Then Bank of America says CBDCs are the future of money and payments alongside IBM. So central bank digital currencies have the potential to revolutionize global financial systems, a report from the bank said. Everything in Agartha, we lay it out, and it's so crazy to see it all kind of being publicly announced now. CBDCs do not, well, it says Digital currencies such as CBDCs and stablecoins are the natural evolution of money and payments, Bank of America said in a research report on Tuesday. CBDCs do not change the definition of money, but will likely change how and when value is transferred over the next 15 years, adding that the central bank digital currencies have the potential to revolutionize global financial systems and may be the most significant technological advancement in the history of money. Absolutely, by far. CBDCs typically use blockchain to increase efficiency and lower costs. A stablecoin is a type of cryptocurrency whose value is pegged to another asset, such as the US dollar or gold. The benefits and risks of CBDCs depend on their design and issuance, but Bank of America expects central banks in developed economies to focus on payments efficiency and those on developing countries to focus on financial inclusion. Still, CBDCs aren't without their risks. They may drive competition with bank deposits and could lead to a loss of monetary sovereignty and inequality among countries globally. CBDC issuance may not happen for over a decade in some countries, but central banks are expected to adopt technological advances or risk irrelevance over the longer term. Bank of America says it expects central banks and governments will drive digital asset innovation with input from the private sector. Public-private cooperation partnership. There we go. South Korea launches Metaverse replica of Seoul as part of a 3-year effort to expand its public services. Metaverse Seoul will allow users to take their avatars to tax offices, access youth counseling, and read ebooks. So crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. Bank of America, we covered that. And yeah, guys, so that's it for the newsletter. One thing I wanted to announce is with the crypto market heating up, what we're going to do is we're opening back up the doors because I don't want to leave anybody who wanted to get in behind. I feel like it was selfish to close the doors down. What I want to do is allow everybody to be able to join. So if you're interested in getting access to Stargate Services, everything that we offer, go to stargate-ventures.com. I'll put the link in the bio. Click the join the free waitlist. We're going to open our services back up tonight. And first off, we're going to allow people who are already in the Discord first access. So if you're not already in the Discord, click the link in the bio and join the free Discord. We're going to open up, we're going to send a special link to the people in the Discord tonight who want to join. They'll get first dibs, and then we'll open it up publicly again. So if you are interested in Stargate Services, a lot of people already joined the free waitlist. So if you haven't already, if you join the free waitlist, come join the Discord first because we're going to put the link in there first. But then tomorrow we're going to open the doors back up and let the floodgates open, because with the market being at where it is and a second melt up potentially underway, I don't want to hold anybody kind of gated up from joining the services that we provide, because these signals, the software that we provide, are on point. I mean, we're calling the melt up weeks before it happened, and then it happened. And what I'm calling right now is the potential bull market could be underway, and we could see all-time highs this year. Absolutely. One of the charts we've been watching to gauge that is the USDC plus USDT total market cap against the crypto total market cap. And right now we're teetering on an edge where we could enter into the bull run of all time. The hyper boom is what I'll call it, because we saw once we broke the trend line here, back here was from December 2020 to May of 2021, huge bull run. Right now, we're very close to doing the same thing, and I'm going to call it that we're going to explode. So as far as XRP being below 40 cents right now, we're going to let anybody and everybody come in and pile in to get access to Stargate Services before it hits over $1. Because at that point, you know, we're going to close it off to make sure that our whole group is kind of playing things right. But until then, we are opening the floodgates back up. So join the Discord. Link will be in the bio. We'll send the link in there tonight. We're also doing the Femex live tutorial tonight. And then tomorrow we'll open it up to the public. So come join in there. And yeah, guys, so I'll see you guys in the Discord, and I'll see you guys in the next video. We're going to still do the World Economic Forum follow-up video, as well as the Stellar Deep Dive. And then we have the live tonight. So I'll see you guys in there.